Our next presenter is Jamie Hill with a SOLIDWORKS Drawings tutorial. Jamie is a training and process consultant at Joplin. He's a senior instructor and subject matter expert, and he's a certified SOLIDWORKS expert.
Thanks, Adriana. Today we'll be looking at what Javelin's drawing service can do for you. We'll start with the major benefits that can come along with building out your drawings. We'll then give you a quick usage demonstration, and then I'll go into the workflow breakdown. Some of the major benefits that would come from building out your drawings would be things like the ability to quickly apply your file properties or metadata to your parts, assemblies, and drawings. Having parametric title blocks, ensuring that you're entering information only once. The ability to have predefined notes, callouts, and tolerancing. And we can also tailor our outsourcing information. All this would equate to reduced potential of user error, and most importantly, having a fast and efficient drawing process. I have here a small assembly I've just designed, and before I go to the drawing stage for these components, I need to apply my custom properties. This can easily be applied in bulk by using Advanced Select tools and the Property tab builder. Let's start by applying our common properties to our different classifications of components. I can come in and use my Advanced Select tool to select all my manufactured parts, and then start to apply my common properties, whether it's my project, my customer, if these are my manufactured components, I can note that. Maybe apply a general material class. And of course, fill in our design information for traceability. And I can do this for my toolbox items as well, some of the purchased components. As well as my assemblies. Once we've done that, I can come in and do some of the unique items. if I open up one of these components, you can see all those properties have been transferred down to the component and assembly level. So let's go ahead and start making our drawings. I'll maybe start with my top level assembly here. And I'll go ahead and enter the custom properties intended to follow my drawing file. Notice my title block information has all been populated from its assembly components. And I'll just delete the extra drawing views here that I don't need. So at the top level, we typically need a bill of material. So I'll go ahead and add that in. I've tailored my own bill of material here, and it's associated to anchor points, so it'll just snap right into place for me. We can have multiple bill of materials available depending on who's looking and using these. In this case, it's intended for a purchaser. So you can see I've reduced the amount of columns by putting in equations referencing either the vendor part number if it's a purchased item, such as my screw, or in this case, if it's manufactured, I want to see the material and the vendor that that raw material is supplied from. Now let's do a quick exploded view and balloon our model. Another thing I may want to do here at the top level is show my stroke for the vise. To do that, I'll use an alternate position view. And then do a quick dimension. I may also want to add some quick notes to this drawing. Instead of typing things out manually, what I can do is come to some of my predefined notes and just drop those into my general note bank. So there's one more thing I'll add to this drawing while we're in here. I'll add a quick reference dimension. Now my company that makes vices happens to have some standards regarding overall lengths. And so instead of manually setting these tolerances, remembering it all, I'll just grab one of these styles that will automatically change it. And we'll just set that to reference. Let's say I get that inevitable design change. Let's come in and add a revision to our assembly. So this component here happened to have got a size change. So we can note that in our revision table. Notice the dates are automatic. It will also, due to the automatic borders, record our zones for tracking where this change is noted. After adding that revision, I should expect to see that denoted in my custom properties, as well as my title block, because everything is parametric here. It just so happens that my in-house manufacturing happens to be a little bit busy this week, so I'll be forced to outsource this. Looking at the drawing, I have some information here that I might not want to share with my vendors. So what I can do is come into my layers and quickly designate specific items to either not be printed or just not be visible in general. And now we're ready to send this out. Now that I've given you a quick demonstration on some of the time-saving functionalities and capabilities we can build into our templates, let's look at the workflow in order to create these. The first thing you'll want to do is establish your custom property tabs. And to do this, we can use the custom property tab builder. You'll see if I pull up some of my predefined templates here, this starts to look awfully familiar. We can generate this from text files. We can link it to Excel for easy manipulation if new customers or employees are added. And we can even build in some manufacturing capabilities, such as our different cutting methods and the tolerances that would apply to each one. Once we've established what our custom property tab will look like, we can move on to generating our custom design library. This will house things like our drawing annotations, things like surface finishes, GD&T, any tailored notes we may have, as well as our drawing styles, which will be those predefined tolerances and callouts. After that, I like to go in and start to adjust the part and assembly templates, as well as the drawing templates themselves. These template settings, document properties specifically, can have a large impact on your model's performance, your usage, your functionality, day to day. One thing that will be imperative to your performance is your image quality setting. We recommend around 10%. And any properties in this document properties tab are stored in your template files. After going through the settings of your part, assembly, and drawing templates with a fine-tooth comb, we can come in and maybe define our advanced select tools that we used. So I'll go to advanced select. And we can use this to pull up a number of different items. In the case of selecting all my manufactured components, I might look at something like the document name, which would contain the SOLIDWORKS file extension of SLDPRT. We can test this out at any point by hitting apply, and we can see that works. To further refine this a little bit better, I might put in some AND conditions. Because parts like toolbox items and weldments will naturally take different properties, I'll come in and specify the file types should not equal a weldment part and not equal toolbox. I can hit apply, and you can see that as deselected those toolbox items. Now, I don't want to have to type this in every time, of course, so what I can do is give it a name and hit the save button. That will put it over here to the second tab. This is my favorites tab, and if I give it a little check mark here, they will appear on my dropdown. At this point, we've set up our back end. So let's go in and create our first drawing template. I'll just open up whatever template I currently have. I try and start with an A-size portrait. In this case, you may not have that by default. So let's go in and maybe use a different size. And I could come into my properties and I can specify a sheet size. So let's go to that A size portrait. I can start by editing the sheet format. And I'll just delete whatever may be there prior. And we can generate our own title block. This is just made up of a bunch of sketch lines and notes. The notes would be linked parametrically. So you can go to link and you want to pull most of the properties from the model itself. And you will see a list here of all your properties. I generally recommend you start with a dummy part. So make a simple block, apply your custom properties to it, and insert it into this drawing. Once you do that, you'll see the full list of those properties that you have generated. I've gone ahead and I've saved my title blocks as a block. So on every new sheet size that I generate, I just have to drop my block in. A helpful hint here: if you're ever determining where this property is being pulled from, because it could come from the drawing file, it could come from the assembly or part file. If you focus in on this first bit of syntax, if you see PRPSHEET, it's pulling it from the model itself. However, if you're seeing something like just $PRP, you know it's being pulled from the drawing file. So after assigning your automatic borders and generating your custom title block, what we need to do is save our sheet format. What I like to do specifically is save the sheet format with the same file name as the drawing template itself. So I'll have a sheet format that corresponds to each and every drawing template that I have. And then you could come in and assign that sheet format to the template. So we'll transfer this back to standard, and I'll pull up my A size that I have just created. Once that's done, we can go ahead and rinse and repeat, propagate and scale, adjust the settings and fonts accordingly, and we will have our full set of templates to pull from.